Miss Speaker, you can start your talk now, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Hazi. Uh, Let us start this session with a good vibe. Actually, I believe mathematics is everywhere, and this is what we can see everywhere. Like everywhere, we can find mathematics. But nowadays, students are getting anxious about mathematics, how to understand mathematics, how to overcome, because nowadays, mathematics is like totally in a developed way. It's not like before thing. People used to teach on board, they used to memorize or do rote learning of formulas, then solve. Only whatever questions are prescribed in textbook, those used to be practiced and those used to come in question paper as well. But nowadays things has changed and questions are posed on creative basis, and child has to understand the concept, apply the concept, and has to solve that question during exams. Now this has created a very anxiety sort of thing among students who are not able to understand it clearly, or who are facing some level of difficulty in solving those problems. So today we are going to learn how we are going to avoid that, how we can stop anxiety, and how we can overcome it, and how we can help our children, our students, to understand the subject and move ahead in their life. So it is one of the core subjects in a high school and in one's life, because wherever you go you need mathematics, even when you're going outside or for any other trip. All those calculations are based on mathematics, and children who are good at mathematics are able to solve. But children who feel a little bit difficulty, they face math anxiety. As said by a great mathematician back on, it is the gateway and key to all the sciences. Mathematics is the gateway and key to all the sciences. Now, let us understand what exactly is math anxiety, how students are facing it, how we can know that they are struggling with math anxiety. Now, mathomophobia, it is just a fear. It is nothing related to child's health or child's mental health or child's personality. It is just a sort of fear associated with mathematics. So whenever they see anything related to maths or any calculations are given to them to complete it, they just dislike it. That is mathomophobia. They just fear about not able to solve it. That is mathomophobia. And math anxiety is little bit different. They directly want to avoid the subject totally. Mathmophobia is only fear. They can do if we just help them, but math anxiety is total different. It will be replicated in their own body as soon as they see something related to mathematics. They their hands will start to shiver, their face will be changed, their expressions will be changed. They don't want to even listen, they don't even want to do, they simply avoid it, they are not willing to listen. So this shows they are suffering from math anxiety. It is a position, actually it is a sort of fear which reflects in their whole body, which totally reflects in their whole body, and we can directly see it. Usually math teachers will be sitting with them and parents will be sitting with them all the time, so that we can notice it easily. Whenever a child doesn't want to do the mathematical calculations, or they simply avoid that, telling silly reasons, and they do not perform to their full potential. Supposingly, if we have given a simple problem and they don't want to do, they will simply tell, I will do it later, or I don't know, I can do it after some time. And they will look here and there, even in class. Supposingly I'm taking a mathematics class, and there are few children who don't want to do mathematics problems in class. So just by looking at them, we can understand that they are suffering from math anxiety. Just by looking at their behavior, their hands will be shivering, their legs will be shivering. They don't want to concentrate on the subject. They don't want to listen. They look here and there. They avoid it totally. They avoid it totally. So that shows they have a little bit of fear or anxiety sort of thing. And this we can understood. And teacher, mathematics teacher especially, is the first person who will able to understand this. who will be able to understand this and notice this. So how can we recognize math anxiety? So some symptoms I have written here. Usually they are nervous and they get poor hands, clammy hands, increased heart rate, upset stomach and lightheadedness. They usually say they have a headache when there is a math class. This is the usual reason I always see in my math classes. Some children, they usually say I have a headache, they are nervous, their hands will be shivering. And this is not related to their mental illness, it is only related to this subject. The major reason is they don't want to do it in front of children, because other children may feel are little bit laugh, or they feel that I don't know this, so other children may laugh at me, our teacher will scold me. They don't want to see that thing. It is nothing related to their mental illness sort of thing. They are just worried that if I want to do, teacher will shout at me, our children will laugh at me. It is an easy thing, but still I am unable to understand. This is what they feel, and they start avoiding that subject, which usually creates an anxiety sort of disorder in them. It's not actually a disorder, anxiety sort of thing in them, which they usually show when it comes to when it's related to maths. So how can we overcome this? It is actually very easy. Children, math anxiety is not totally related to and something which goes whole life. As teacher, what we do or what I do or what other teachers can help them is sit with them first, talk with them, make them feel that it is actually easy. We can do it in a easy way. Just by looking at children, we can understand that, and I personally believe teacher is the first person who can notice this and help them overcome it. So causes of math anxiety. Influence of teachers. Usually what teachers do is, what I have seen or what happens, it is not related to everybody. What happens is teacher will come and they will start a problem. Some teachers who are like unprepared, they simply come to the school and they start writing on the board and they do some sort of mistake which influences, they get panicked and they rub the problem and again they will do. It's okay, we are human being. Some problems are difficult, or sometimes we our mind may not work in a perfect way, or we can do a mistake. It is okay. If we have done that sort of mistake in whole class, we can say to children that it's my mistake, I have done it the wrong way, and then go ahead. If we simply rub and we give them other sort of work, they feel that it is a tough subject, my teacher is not able to do. We can say to them that it is an easy subject, because of some issues I am unable to do it, and then solve it again. This will help them to create a sort of impression in their mind that yes, mistakes happen in math as well, we can overcome it by practicing again or doing it again. Second one is wrong method of teaching. Usually even when I was child, even in my school or in my academics, in my tuition, teacher used to come, simply tell the problem and solve the problem and board and go away. We never used to understand why that formula is related to that theorem, why that formula is related to that problem, why this theorem is being used to prove certain thing. We never used to understand. So I always used to feel like, why is it related? So I used to search for options how to relate it and how to understand it. This is being done nowadays also. Teachers usually come, read the question, solve it on board, and ask the children to copy. This is really wrong method of teaching mathematics. Actually, we can teach it in a different way. We can read out the question, relate it to real life example, like small example. Supposingly, if I say something like we need to calculate the height of a building using trigonometric ratios, we can use Pythagoras theorem. Why we are using Pythagoras theorem is here, because Pythagoras theorem is related to calculating the heights and distances. That is why Pythagoras has defined this, and we are going to use this in such a way that children should be able to relate that this is the theorem, we are going to use it, and this is the formula that base square plus adjacent square is equals to hypotenuse square, where we are going to calculate the height basing on the values given. So this way they will be able to understand and they will not by heart are they will not worry about which thing to use. If we teach them in this way, they will always remember that example, recollect and write if any different question is also posed to them. Next is preference of rote memorization approach. Even I have seen few kids always now they just memorize the whole problem. I don't know how they memorize the whole problem, and few problems they'll stuck in between and they will leave it. They will simply memorize. If something is given to solve a quadratic equation, x square plus 2x plus x square plus 4x plus 5, if you need to find out the roots of this equation, they will simply do something like x square plus 4x plus 1x plus 5 is equals to 0, x is taken out, x plus 4. Like this, they wrote memorize the whole problem and they think they have learnt it. But this is a blunder in mathematics. This is a total blunder in mathematics. They cannot learn in this way. They are simply by hearting, and they are decreasing their memory. Actually, it will affect their brain. No child can memorize the whole textbook or the whole problems. They simply by heart it. This is not going to help them in any way. And the pressure caused by the time limit on tests. Usually in mathematics we have a time limit of 2 hours or 1.5 hours depending on the number of marks or exam question paper. It is okay, we are giving time limit to understand what they are up to and how we are going, because this is the pattern which goes on. We have given some certain time limit basing on everybody's capabilities, that is equal for everyone. But usually in schools teachers will pressurize, saying in between you have only 1 hour left, 2 hours only paper. Those should not affect them. And how we can avoid this is by we can simply tell we have enough time to solve, we have enough time and we have good time to solve, and time is more, then they will feel relaxed and they will not think about time. They will not always look for time. Time is like time is about to finish, we have to write quickly. If they are thinking this, their mind will be more focused on looking at time again and again. Their mind will is not focused on remembering or doing what they want to do. So this should be a part of exam, but these students should be trained in such a way that time limit is there, but we can finish it in time. There is no need to hurry or worry. And the next is fear of being wrong. Everybody can do everybody will do mistakes. Everybody can do mistakes. As human beings, mistake is part of our life. We learn from our mistakes. Even I do so many times. Even I forget while teaching also few times. My students will tell, ma'am, this is the way you have tell. Yeah, you have told. Yeah, I have forgotten. I accept that and then again go ahead. We should avoid this fear of being wrong. It is okay to be wrong sometimes. That should be inculcated in the students. It is okay to be wrong. It is okay to do a wrong problem. Nothing is going to happen. We are going to learn from it. We are going to practice it again. And next time we are not going to do this mistake. If we all the time we poke children that you have done wrong, you have done wrong, this word will be fitted in their mind. And whenever that problem or that chapter comes, they always feel that I am anyway going to do it wrong. So I am not going to practice. This is always felt by children. If once you say this chapter you have done this problem wrong, this theorem is wrong, that will directly be poked in their mind and they will keep that word in their mind. Their mind will flash that thing again and again. So this fear should be avoided. If any time they have done wrong also, we have to motivate them saying this, it's fine, then go ahead, again we can do. Next one is lack of previous knowledge or prerequisites. Usually, what happens is whenever we start a new academic year or a new textbook sort of thing, we usually go for a basic test so we can understand what is child up to. I usually do this with my children as well. As the year finishes, there is 100% possibility that child may forget the subject. It is a human thing, it will happen. Child may forget the subject sometimes. So whenever we go for next academic year, I usually conduct a basic test, small basic test, just to boost up their knowledge. Just to boost up their knowledge. If they just by looking at their marks and sitting with them, we can understand they are lacking in this knowledge. and we have to again give a session on that lesson and then go ahead. This will definitely help them to move ahead. And this is one of the reasons also for math anxiety. They don't know the basic thing and they are going for next year. And if we pose them a big question or a middle level question also, because they don't know how to start it, it will develop a sort of anxiety in them, and they will not tell to us clearly that I don't know this, because they feel little bit of shame or little bit of fear in front of children and in front of parents or class. Usually happens is if they don't tell anything, we get angry and we scold them. As a parent, even I do that sometimes. As a parent, even I do that sometimes. It is okay, but next time whenever we sit with them, we can have a small test, we can have a talk, and we can help them to come over it. Next is dyscalculia. Dyscalculia is nothing but they are unable to understand or relate numbers. These children, sometimes they have this thing from their birth, or sometimes it develops because of more sort of math anxiety. They are unable to count, they are unable to add, they are unable to subtract the numbers. They actually don't remember numbers properly. Usually, a child learn numbers by looking at number one as a symbol. Our mind will not. Our mind doesn't know that this is one, two, or three. We train our mind saying that these are numbers. This is one, two, three, and four. Their brain will not be able to understand that these are mathematical numbers, and this is one, two, or three. So they will always face problem. For two, they will tell five. For five, they will tell six. Something they will be telling because they don't know, their brain is unable to analyze those numbers. So this sort of thing can be seen in children from an early age, and the teacher who is with the kid, she or he can observe, and they can let them overcome it. Will we cannot remove the total effects of dyscalculia, but we can help children always by with them and making them feel okay, it happens, you can learn again and again, and sitting with them, understanding them, and we can help them in such a way that it is not going to show that drastic effects when they grow up. Usually children with dyscalculia, they will have that effect even if they grow up, but math anxiety is not like that. It can be removed by understanding the concept what they are not able to understand. Few children will not be able to understand formulas, few children will not be able to understand why it is getting related to that. They simply wrote memorize. Supposingly, if I say area and perimeter, usually they learn area of perimeter, area of a square is a square, area of a rectangle is length into breadth. That's it, they are able to understand. They only think this is the formula that should be kept, but they don't know what is actual area, in what sort of units we are going to write it, what is perimeter, why we are going to measure it, and how we are going to measure it. If they know that this total area that is occupied that by that object is area, then they will definitely understand that area is calculated by multiplying side into side, and perimeter is nothing but the total distance or total length of an object which it covers. If it is rectangle, two lengths and two breadths. If it is a square, all the sides will be taken from starting point to end point. If they know that thing, they will not mug up the formula, and this will help them to relate it to real life things and understand the concept easily. If maths is been taught in this way, they will not memorize the things, and they will not feel anxious about it. Its only thing is they feel as they don't know properly, they don't want to show it in front of children and teacher, and they don't want to get scolded or beaten up or by children or parents. They will not commit, and gradually it will develop. Gradually what happens is this anxiety starts with a simple problem. They will, it will gradually increase, and they totally avoid that, and they totally avoid that. They won't want to listen about maths also. They won't take maths in their mainstreams. They won't want to see the subject at all. They go for commerce or any other subject, but they don't take maths. But this doesn't mean that they cannot understand or do mathematics. They will do, and they can do when we can help them in the subject, when we can sit with them, talk with them, teach them in a perfect way, they will be definitely able to catch up, and this anxiety can be overcome by talking to them. So how we can overcome this math anxiety? We can overcome this anxiety by introducing recreational activities. So whenever there is we have a theorem that angles in a semicircle are 90 degrees. If we just go on board and tell, they will never remember. A simple recreational activity is cutting a semicircle, putting different points on the semicircle and taking a rubber band or thread and calculating the angle by putting on it. This will make them remember for their life that we have done this experiment, and this is true that in a semicircle the angle at any point would be 90 degrees. So this will help them. They will not rote memorize. This will put their focus. Supposingly, when we are doing these recreational activities or any sort of teaching learning material we are using, they will remember it, and they will do that with full focus. They will understand the concept, and after that, when we teach the theorem or the subject, they will definitely understand the concept, and that brings an happiness, a sort of happiness in them, that I have understood this, and this slowly increases and they show their interest in mathematics, and that becomes an easy subject from them. Shift to constructivist method of teaching. It is nothing but we should always focus on teaching in teaching using teaching learning materials, not by rote learning. We can slowly develop the child's interest in the subject by inculcating those habits of learning in small parts and putting the subjects in a the 3D sort of thing. We can show objects to them, we can show those practice things to them, then they will relate it and they will able to replicate in the class. Encouragement through words and gestures. This is the main thing which I usually follow. This thing this thing drastically affects them. Whenever we say that you are able to do, you will do it, this will push them to understand it, and this will push them to do it. If we are saying it, that means it is hitting their mind. If we are saying you are not going to do, that will also hit their mind. If we are saying that you are good at doing mathematics, you can do, that will also hit their mind, and that will be replicated whenever a maths problem is being shown or being done. I usually feel this even now also. Whenever I am unable to solve something, I usually take those words, whichever I tell to my children, I usually replicate in my mind. Okay, they are also able to do, I am also able to do, I have to do, and I will do. So those things will definitely help. Those things will push us to do as we can do. It is nothing impossible in mathematics. You can always learn. Next is one-to-one tutoring. So kids who are suffering with math anxiety, or who are having fear of maths, that no, I cannot do, we can usually sit with them for 10 to 15 minutes, teach them a simple problem, and bug up them by saying that you can do this, it is very easy for you. Actually, what I do is I sit with children, I will only solve the problem, I will be posing questions, I will be posing questions, I will only be telling the answers, and I will say to them, see, you have solved this. And they feel so happy. And they feel so happy that they say, ma'am, did I solve this? Yes, you have solved this. So you can do everything. So this way, sorry, this way of one-to-one tutoring with them will definitely help them. Once they feel happy that I have solved this problem, I can do this, they will definitely take that to next level. Create the stuck unstuck situation. It is the same thing. Now suppose they are stuck with anything, and supposingly I'm sitting with them, they are stuck in between, they are unable to relate the formula, they are unable to go ahead with that problem, they are unable to factorize that problem, they are unable to get any factors. We can take them out of this situation just by helping them and just by posing small questions. Supposingly the middle number, which is which we usually do in algebra for factors, we need to find the factors and then we need to go ahead. Simply pose a simple question, how to find a factor. It is easy, you can do it. You only start doing and you only tell them that, see, you have done this. take them out of this situation such easily that they should feel, yeah, it was so easy, I just didn't look at the options. That's it. And they will come through it and they will never feel it is hard. Once they are stuck in a situation and they start feeling it is hard, that will also develop gradually. They will never go for that problem again. So whenever they feel stuck, we should not scold them, or we should not say, aren't you able to do even this small thing? We should sit with them, we should pose such a question that they should only solve. If they are not able to solve, tell them in a way that they should relate and they should come up with the situation and they should feel it is easy. Next is breathing
Yes,
exercise.
Miss
This
Hazi.
usually, ma'am,
Miss
only two
Hazi,
points.
sorry to interrupt you. We are running out of time because of the time constraint. We have around 9 questions lined up here by the audience. If you want to take it, or
Ma'am,
like if you need more
okay,
time.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Do you want? Are you ready for the question answer round, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. If you can stop sharing your PPT, audience can have a better view of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes. So there are 9 questions here, and actually, like I was going through the questions, most of them are already covered by you. But if you can throw some more light on these, since the audience have asked. So the first question is, how would you define math anxiety, and what are some common signs or symptoms that individuals may exhibit when experiencing it? You have already spoken about it, but just brief it again, please. Thank you.
It is nothing but fear of not able to solve the problem. And that can be seen in their face directly. Their face will be like totally pale. Their eyes will not look at, they will not look at board, or they will not look at paper. Their hands will be cold. They will do all other things, but they will not look at that paper and they will not solve the problem. That is the first hint that will be seen by the teacher or parent.
Okay.
It is
So you
just fear
spoke
of
about
not solving it.
Right.
Ma'am,
You spoke about strategies, but can you throw some more light on the proven and effective strategies, both in short term and as well as long term solution?
usually what I do, I'm not that good at, but usually what I do is I sit with them first. I talk to them. I make them completely come out of that situation. I talk with them. I'll just not talk about math. I'll talk about any other thing. I'll just make them come out of that situation. And then slowly I'll talk to them. I'll teach that problem again. And then I'll make them understand that this should be done in this way. If you're not able to do it, is okay, fine. We can do it again. So that is the
Okay.
better option, because nowadays children are reacting and reflecting to what we say. They are not like us. They are not worried. They don't worry, or they don't think they don't think anything. They directly go to their teacher and they'll tell, Madam, I'm unable to understand this. Even these sort of children are also there. So we need to just look at what sort of person he is. If he is shy, if he will not come, if he will not raise voice, then we only go to them and we only talk to them and let them understand there is nothing wrong. It's okay. They can come out of it. It's just
Oh,
that how we behave with them.
got it, ma'am. So how do you approach fostering a positive mathematical mindset in students?
That is just by relating it to real life. Just
Okay.
by relating it to real life. Supposingly I say 90 degrees is right angle, they will only able to see 90 degrees is right angle. That's it. But if I show them that every window which is in rectangular or square shape is posed all the sides as 90 degrees, and when a door is opened it is in 90 degrees, the corners of your laptop has 90 degrees, then they will able to understand that this shape relates to 90 degrees when two lines are perpendicular, that is relating to 90 degrees. So that way they will this will help them to understand that it is actually all around us. We are just learning that this is 90 degrees. So this way they will gradually increase their interest in mathematics.
Okay. And what role does the classroom environment play in promoting a healthy attitude toward mathematics in
It
students?
definitely plays the major role. It definitely plays the major role in developing a good attitude towards mathematics, what children should have. It should not be like, as I said, rote learning thing which we faced when we were a child. Nowadays it happens also, but it drastically affects their mind, because whenever they come to school, they totally rely on us. Parents will be spending less time with them, we will be spending more time with them. We are usually second parents to them, we can be taken as a parent of them also. So in class, behaving positively, teacher should behave in a positive way, teacher should talk to them in a positive way, teacher can never demotivate them, teacher can never scold them. Even every child is unique, every child is different, every child has different abilities. As a teacher, we should be able to understand what they are up to, what they can do. Supposingly if a problem is not solved or they are not able to understand, just give the same problem in a easy way. They will understand and they will help themselves. We should not help, we don't need to sit with them all the time. Just give a problem in a easy way. The same problem in a easy way can also be posed and given to them. They will solve it, they will feel happy. Then you give that question, they will automatically do it.
Oh,
Our words and our sentences will directly hit them and it actually motivates them. And if we say anything negative, that will demotivate them in a drastic way.
oh.
I never,
So what
I
about
never.
right? What about the resources, ma'am? Are there any specific resources that you find particularly helpful in creating a supportive and engaging learning experience for students?
Resources, I don't think, ma'am, there are resources available online for in Amazon or Flipkart. Those sort of building blocks or all those sort of things can be there. But instead of using that, we can show them with the things around us. But there are few things in mathematics that cannot be shown in things around us. We just only need to understand and replicate it in a different way. Instead of that, when we go out and when we spend time with children, then only relating it to maths will help them in a easy way.
Okay. In your opinion, ma'am, what role do parents and caregivers play mitigating math anxiety in students? And what strategies can they employ to nurture a positive mathematical mindset at home?
Yes, ma'am, definitely parents and teachers play the most important role. As a parent, if evening usually we sit with our kids and they will be asking us question. If even though that is a silly question, they are not able to understand, we can sit with them, do it again. Don't blame, like teacher hasn't told this, you didn't listen in class, what did you do, didn't your teacher told all this. Instead of posing all these nonsense questions, we can sit with them, we can explain the concept in a easy way, and then we do. They will never fear to do it, they will never fear to come and tell us that I am facing this problem. If we scold, they will never come. If we don't scold and we take it in a easy way, they'll come to us, they will tell us, we will solve with them. That fear is lost then and there, it will not increase. We
Oh,
are the major persons helping them to overcome this math anxiety. This actually starts with us. This actually starts with us. No child has math anxiety or math fear when they are born. This actually starts with the situations which are happening around him in home or in school. This actually starts with this. Actually, the starting point is us only. If we don't do this, they won't feel fear or anxiety, anxious about mathematics. They will usually come and they will solve in good way and they'll go away. That's it. We are the major persons who will start this.
okay. So, are there any successful case studies or examples you can share where a concerted effort to overcome math anxiety resulted in notable improvement in students?
Yes, ma'am. I have done this. I have done this in grade three. In 2019, in grade three, there was a child who don't know even numbers. Who don't know even numbers. Nobody was able to help him. Even his parents used to scold him all the time. You don't even know numbers. Even a LKG child knows this. This actually demotivates. First thing is, we should never tell negative about a child, negative about the subject. We should always say you are good and you can do it. In grade 3, in 6 months, just by sitting, talking to him, sitting along with him, spending time with him, telling that it is easy, you can do it, we have to do it, that will definitely help each and every child. I have done this. in around 2019. With one child, I have done this. Meet Jen. He's one of
Great.
my favorite student as well. I have done
Literally.
this with him. This will definitely help, ma'am, more than any other strategy, any other thing. Just by saying good words to them will definitely help them.
Thank you. So, how can educators adapt their teaching styles to accommodate diverse learning preferences and address the varying levels of math anxiety within a classroom setting, ma'am?
Ma'am, can you please read the question for me once?
Yeah, yeah. So kids are all of different levels in adopting, in practicing everything, right? The
Yes, ma'am.
class is diversified. So right, it's each child's mental ability or the interest varies from one another.
Yes, ma'am.
So how can educators adapt their teaching styles to accommodate the needs of these diverse learning preferences of the students?
Yes, ma'am. So whenever we go to class, instead of starting directly on board, because in a like month or span of time, we will be able to understand their different mental abilities. We will know who can understand in a span of minute, who can understand when I'm teaching on board, or who cannot understand, who will simply be waiting for us to come and teach again and again. There will be different things. So what we can do is, first thing is, replicate the concept in a recreational way. Supposingly, as I said, if you are going to teach the theorem related to circles, bring some recreational materials, ask them to cut a circle, sit along with them, and then do that whole theorem as an activity first. So those who are good learners, they will be able to solve it. They will be able to do that in 5 or 10 minutes. Those who are slow, they will understand the concept easily, and then they will do. So once we have done with the activity, then you teach the theorem on the board. Then everybody will be able to understand it in a easy way. So I usually do this. Instead of
Okay.
directly teaching the theorem or subject directly on board, first, I go with the activity wherein everybody is involved. Children will talk with each other. They will only help each other. I will not do anything. I'll just tell them that these are the materials. Cut a circle. Put the threads in such a way. Do it in this way. Do it in this way. What do you observe? So what happen is they will form a group. They will only teach themselves. They will only understand. They will come with questions. Madam, if you are doing this, this is happening, what we should do next. They will come with the questions. The questions which are raised by their mind will help them to understand that concept easily, as they eagerly want to know what is next.
Okay. It will put them to ease. I think the prep will make them, prepared for to solve the problems, I
Yes,
guess,
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, are there any specific digital tools or platforms that you recommend for supporting students in overcoming their anxiety, ma'am?
Digital tools, I really have no idea, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh, I have not seen anything digital actually.
Okay. No issue. So that ends the question answer round, ma'am. School Journal of Education and schoolreformer.com. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions. I thoroughly enjoyed, and as a parent, also you have shared your experiences. And I'm sure parents will connect with their experiences too. We also thank the audience for participating in the event. Miss Hazi Begum, do you want to mention anything else, ma'am?
I'm just grateful to the universe, to the God, and to everybody who has joined this session, and you to giving me a chance to come up and speak few things which I know. Uh, it's the only thing which I always feel is the knowledge which I have gained by the help of God's grace should be helpful to everyone. That's the
Thank you.
only motto I have. The mathematics which I have learned, which I am trying to help students, that should be taken in a wide way, and it should be helpful to everybody. Thank you for having
Definitely,
me
it will
here.
reach. Definitely, it will reach. The message is has already reached, and definitely the students will benefit out of your teachings, and it will go very well, ma'am. Thanks again.
Thank you, ma'am.